Hello. Hiya.
Hi, Nick. How are you doing?
Hello, Ollie, all right?
This is Holly.
Hello, Ollie.
How are you going to make life better for young people over the next 5 years?
I think the main thing is to make sure that your school and that nurseries and colleges get the money they need. Otherwise, lots of children won't get the education and the schooling they deserve.
Will budgets be cut for anything if we vote for you?
Yes, there will be some. 7 years ago now, something went horribly wrong, horribly pear-shaped, and the banks lent money to people they shouldn't have done, they borrowed from other banks they shouldn't have done, and basically we've been paying for that ever since then. And we've still got a little bit more to do. The courts and the police services and local authorities and things like that will need to make a couple more years of savings so that we don't spend money that we don't have.
This is a question from me. Why should people trust the Liberal Democrats when you broke your promise on tuition fees?
I was in a bit of a rock and a hard place really, because in a democracy, as you can imagine, if you don't win completely, you can't do everything you want. So we got the fairest deal we could. For some people, no explanation is ever enough, no apology is never enough, but there's a whole bunch of other things, that from free school meals in primary schools to better taxes to helping pensioners more, to all sorts of other things which we've done in government, which we have stuck to.
Nick, you've said you're going to put £8 billion into the NHS. Where's that money going to come from?
So at the moment we're spending billions and billions and billions, much more than that actually, just paying off the interest on the debts that we've made up in the past. And if you can get that done, wipe the slate clean, then of course you can spend money in line with as the economy grows in the NHS. But also people who are very wealthy should make an additional contribution through taxes to fund our hospitals and fund our schools.
This is a question from Finn, who's 8. He asked, what would you do if you weren't in politics?
Well, when I was your age, I wanted to be some sort of intrepid explorer, but since I think everything's been explored, I can't do that anymore. My mum was a teacher of children with learning difficulties. I think teaching is probably the noblest profession there is, so maybe a teacher.
Would you guys like Nick as your teacher?
Oh, there you go.
That'd be awesome.
Be careful, it might happen one day.
This is a question from Nimian Madhu. What's the hardest thing you've had to do as a politician?
Well, I think the hardest thing by far is when you have to decide whether we as a country should basically use military force, because then you're asking, soldiers and men and women in the Navy and the RAF and the armed services to put their own lives at risk for the rest of us. But that's what being in government and politics is about. It's not always easy.
This is a question from me. What would your message be to the younger people to persuade them to vote as soon as they can?
Voting doesn't sort everything out, and politics hasn't got all the answers to life, and in fact there are many more things which are much more important, like your family and the people you love and all than politics. But it's still an important way of deciding peacefully how we organise ourselves as a country. If you don't get stuck in and you don't vote, then other people end up making decisions about your future without you having had your say, and that's a great shame.